A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the noble and universal greeting of peace, the greeting that has been used by the prophets and messengers of our universal creator, Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukr to Allah, we are alive, we're well, we're here, and we are intentional, we're living intentionally. We are choosing to remember Allah, to claim the refuge with Allah. We are choosing to draw closer to Allah. We are choosing to bring to Allah a purified heart. We're choosing to be among those who cleanse our hearts. So, if you're listening to this, it's a good sign. And so I would ask you, why are you listening to this? I mean, if you listen to this, it takes time, attention, energy, and the kind of discussion we have here, or the content that I share with you, is not the content of, the popular, unconscious, religious teachings. This is a very practical, pragmatic approach to living, that we say that only Allah is actual, only Allah actually exists, only Allah has power, only Allah is the privileging, only Allah is the provisioning, only Allah has provided us. Allah alone actually exists, and our relationship is first with Allah. In fact, without Allah there's nobody else to have a relationship with, not even us. I can't have a relationship with me because Allah created me. I must have a relationship with Allah, and I can't have a relationship with you or anybody else because Allah created you. First relationship we all have is with Allah. So I can't have a relationship with any human being, anything created. The first relationship is with the one who creates. So why are you here? Why are you listening to this? So, you're here, I'm here. I'll tell you why I'm here. It all started off in the mid to late 90s when I was, I'll say, losering through life. I was losering through life, or unbelievering through life, and I hit rock bottom. And I've been telling you about this for the last many months, my journey, my adventure to where I am. And I've been giving you the steps that I went through, and I think one of the most difficult things for me to accept was that we human beings, we did not receive the guidance. Although guidance has been given to humanity, and a lot of people are religious, even Muslim people following Islamism have a lot of religiosity, but we did not receive the guidance. So, if you don't receive the guidance, you won't experience being guided. And then you won't be able to live with guidance. So, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that guidance came to humanity, with Allah's mercy and compassion through messengers and prophets. The Quran says, to all people have come prophets. To all people have come people who have told the truth to all people. Not just in Arabia through the Prophet, but in Arabia through the Prophet to the world the Quran was revealed. You know what I mean? But to all people have come the truth in different ways. It's been there. And so, I didn't realize that being religious doesn't mean that you have Iman in your heart. It doesn't mean. The Quran says, do not say that you believe, for faith has not entered into your heart. And it says about purifying your heart and remembering Allah and experiencing assurance in your heart. There's this whole focus on your heart. Your life will not change until you change what is in your heart. The way you feel, I didn't know about it. Nobody told me. I didn't know about this whole thing about remembering Allah and experiencing assurance, having a relationship with Allah, having Iman, Yaqeen, Taqwa. People just said, well, what is Taqwa? Fear Allah, fear Allah, fear. Fear is not a good feeling. Verily in the hearts verily in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. Allah puts tranquility into the hearts of the believer as He expands them in faith. You understand? So Allah puts tranquility into the heart. And if you remember Allah, you experience assurance. And Allah purifies the heart. And, people are telling me, you must fear, you must fear, you must fear. The Quran says the friends of Allah, they will never grieve and they will never fear. The Quran does speak about fear, about those who live transgressing all bounds. They think they are the gods of this world, they deny God, they don't live humbly. The Quran cautions them that they are heading for disaster, sooner or later, in this world, or if not in this world, in the world beyond. So, the Quran is a book of guidance, guiding humanity. And all the guidance that came through the prophets before, and through all the people who brought the truth onto the planet through mercy of Allah, they were guided, they shared their guidance. You see, there's guidance for humanity. Humanity has forgotten Allah, and we're living insecure. Those who fail to remember Allah, theirs will be a life that is depressed. Get what I mean? I was there. I know what I'm talking about. I know where I am now. I've never been this peaceful. I've never been this spiritually assured. I've never felt this secure. My heart has never been this, bubbly. I don't know how else to tell you. I feel really at a standstill, without doing anything, without thinking about anything, without having anything, no matter what is going on in my life. I feel the peace, the salam. Get what I mean? So the Quran and all the teachings of Allah, which is the same universal teaching at different times in history, is a book of guidance. It's a guidance to humanity, to heal the diseases in their hearts. That's what the Quran says. This is a book for those who reason. You get what I mean? And He also says this is a book, it's guidance to heal the diseases in the hearts of people. We're living, all of us, with a diseased heart. Even after Adam and Eve repented, Adam repented in the Quran, Allah says you and your people will stay there where you put yourself, but guidance will come to you. Those who receive the guidance will no longer be insecure. Insecure is like, a heart that is diseased, fearful, threatened. So I didn't know any of this, right? I'm seeing people acting holy moly, looking like they got it together. I'm thinking I'm the only one who's got a problem. I'm feeling bad. I'm the only one. Cigarettes, other stuff, behaving badly. I thought, let me turn to people, and it didn't work, turning to people. Because the people I turned to, they were gurus and pandits, and they didn't know really about Iman in the heart. I didn't know that they were coming through from India with their own modification on Islam, which took it out of Islam into Islamism. I didn't know all these things. This is a political, organization of controlling the people. Come to us, we'll tell you. I didn't know this wasn't real Islam that I was being part of. But shukr to Allah, I humbled myself. I said, I don't know. I don't know anybody who knows. We don't know. Only you know. I'm turning to you. And that's when the adventure started. I began to see in my life a series of coincidences that would happen for decades and continues to happen today, where I am shown things, where I'm guided. I have intuition and I see things, and Allah opens my mind, and He purifies my heart. And it's all because I claim refuge with Allah. This is why my teaching, the Islamic teaching that I share with people, is called the believers, Almighty Allah, the believer's refuge. That we believers are people who claim the refuge with Allah. See, I claimed the refuge with Allah. I didn't realize it, but I did it automatically. And then after that I realized the Quran says, claim refuge with Allah. I always said it in Arabic. I didn't know what I was saying. You get what I mean? So, human beings are living in a state of having forgotten Allah. That's why the Quran is there, for us to remember Allah. It doesn't say, some of you need to remember Allah, some of you need to submit. Even Abraham, inclining to truth. He was inclining to truth. Was in the darkness, he inclined to truth. Allah guided him. He submitted. You get what I mean? He told his children to submit, and his grandchildren. And his people, And so, the Prophet Muhammad said, the first among, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon them all, I'm the first among you to submit. The Quran tells us that we not find, to the Prophet, did we not find you in the darkness and guide you to the light? The Prophet Muhammad was in darkness, guided by Allah to the light. You get what I mean? He was guided by Allah. He shared His guidance with us. He shared the revelation with us. He was one given the opportunity and responsibility to convey the message, which he did very well, excellently. You understand? So, human beings are living, and we are living in a state of what I will call losering or unbelievering. You know, we don't know. I didn't know I was losering and I was unbelievering. I didn't know that. And when I submitted, in terms of my ego, I said, I know I don't know. I humbled myself. And I started claiming refuge with Allah. Allah is and has always been and is sufficient for us as a refuge. And I stopped trusting my mind and my heart. I stopped being in the losering identity or the unbelievering identity. And I went into the, leadering identity or the believering identity. The winnering identity. The Quran speaks of those who will be losers, so that's where I'm getting my inspiration. And those who remember Allah, they will progress. Those who are appreciative to Allah, they'll get more. They will be abundant. They will achieve success. Felicity is happiness in the Quran. They'll have happiness, right? If you have belief in Allah and you have good conduct, there is for you a life tayyibun, right? I know that in Islamism, this is all denied, and it's like you suffering, because Allah is testing you. So nothing to do with the fact that you have forgotten Allah, you haven't received guidance. So, I think most of the so-called Muslims of today are steeped in losering and unbelieving. It's called hypocrisy in the Quran, nifaq. Of course, you get other people who have ideas about God but don't know God. They are also unbelieving and losering, right? And so, until you remember Allah, until you actually claim the refuge with Allah and begin to be intentional about purifying your heart, you're going to remain in the losering identity. You're going to remain unconscious, living subconsciously. You're going to remain in the unbelieving identity. You get what I mean? Now, some people in the losering identity, in the unbelieving identity, they might be very religious, and they might be like, but we dress like this, do like this, read like this, but they're not receiving the guidance. You see, the Quran is a book of guidance, guiding humanity. That's what it says. It's a favor unto humanity, guiding us into spiritual development, psychological development, interpersonal development, development as an individual, development as people together, as couples, as a family, as a society, neighborhood. It's guidance for humanity of how to organize yourself, how to live, how to run a state. You know what I mean? It's guidance to humanity. It's guidance. It's not about let's remain losering people and unbelieving people, but just follow this law. This is where you get a lot of people in the losering, in busy losering, and they are, they are not leadering or winnering. They're not believering. They just speak about the law, the Sharia, the Sharia, the Sharia. You know what I mean? But they like not in the heart is impure. Right? They say they believe in Allah in the last day, the Quran says, but in their hearts is a disease. They lie to themselves thinking they lie to Allah. They're self-deceivers. Right? And their hearts are diseased, they are left to stray. The disease is expanded and they get no guidance. None can guide them, So there are people who will tell you but we are very staunch Muslims because we are into the Sharia. Now Sharia is brilliant and it's wonderful. If you look at its application to a barbaric nation in Arabia and how it shifted that, place of barbarism and how it led to the development of sciences and ethics, and it could work with the barbaric nation at that time, which was one of the most barbaric, if not the most barbaric nation at that time. it's really powerful. I'm not denying it. Its value, its place. But what I am saying is there are people who have no iman in their hearts and are not interested in, they're not interested in purifying their hearts. They're living in a very low level of consciousness. They're hypocrites, but they act very holy-moly and they speak a lot about the Sharia, and they speak about like the Sunnah. I got my beard, I got my hat, I'm following the Sunnah. You get what I mean? But they are losering. The Prophet wasn't losering. He wasn't a loser. He was a winner. When you look at his behavior, his mannerisms, how he lived, how he taught, how he operated high power. In terms of his thinking was sharp. He said things like whatever intoxicates in large quantities or harms in large quantities is not good in small quantities. You can see the guy was really, really ahead of his time as a human being, using his brain and his senses and his sensibility. The Quran says he had the most noble of conduct and the most excellent in conduct. As a human being, we've never seen a leader like the Prophet. And we'll never see a leader like the Prophet in terms of his character, mannerisms, and so on and so forth. But look at the so-called Islamis, Look at these people who in their hearts is a disease. Look and see. Compare. They say the Sharia, they say the Sunnah, But the Sunnah, the tradition of the Prophet is to live a very noble and honorable life with character and virtue and progress and optimism and guiding themselves and contributing to their own lives, contributing to society, developed. You see, personally developed. The Prophet was developed, personal growth and development, character building, So Islam, through the Quran and the Sunnah, the Prophet and his teaching and his mannerisms, is there to guide us to spiritual development and psychological development, and how we can live as outstanding human beings. So you get these low functioning human beings, but they're all about Islam says this and Islam says that, and this is what it means to be like, the Prophet. But not at all. No spiritual development, no psychological development. Their hearts are diseased. You get it? Now I'm saying this not to criticize anybody. The Quran says to each their own. The Prophet said it too to the people, to follow your own way. Allah will show us where we differed. So I'm not here to run anybody down, but I am here to speak the truth about my life and what I lived and what I experienced and how I was failed by people who are failing themselves, but they're thinking they're doing wonderful. And you too can get fooled. You can get fooled. Your whole life can come and go, and you might not actually remember Allah. You might not draw closer to Allah. You might not actually claim the refuge with Allah. You can live as an unbeliever, and you could be unbelievering. And you must say, but I follow the Sharia, I'm a Muslim, and look, I'm doing all the Sunnah and all that stuff, and I'm a good person. You know what I mean? You could be losering. They're the losers, the Quran says. And those who say, the Quran speaks about those who act like holy moly, says they are liars. Losers and liars, the Quran calls. Not judging anybody. It's describing. They are not progressing. They're not developing themselves. They're living as human beings that are insecure. The Quran says, Satan threatens you with insecurity and causes you to behave in ways unseemly. You get what I mean? The people's hearts are diseased. They are astray. They're left to stray. The disease is getting bigger, but they got a big act going on. You know what I mean? A big act. So what's the point of the big act? It's not helping them. It didn't help me. You get what I mean? So sometimes you're a child, you're growing up, you don't know, you're believing all this, you don't know, you're following in this tribal way. And your life can come and go, and you'd have the Quran in your own home, you won't even read it, understand it, you won't realize it's calling you back to Allah to remember Allah. It's calling you to actually remember Allah. When you remember Allah, you're a different human being. When you submit before Allah, when you humble yourself before Allah, you're an outstanding human being. You function in a very different way when you are a person who is aware of Allah. See? And you are called to develop yourself to live as a higher functioning human being. The Quran guiding us, the sunnah, our inspiration. You get what I mean? So you get a lot of people lost, thinking that they're Muslims, but the Islam is, as far as I'm concerned, hypocrites. The hearts are diseased. I was one of them, so that's how I know. So I'm saying this, that if you continue to live without guidance and you're busy losering, you're busy unbelievering, you'll be like, but I'm religious, but I'm Muslim. Do not say that you believe, for faith has not entered into your heart. You could even be a hypocrite. You don't know Allah. Your heart is impure. Satan is just threatening that heart. You're just living unconsciously. So there are those that you can see that are out and out losers, right? You can see people in society, unconscious. They're living as that child self, following the tribe. And they don't amount to much because they don't have an intention in their heart to claim refuge with Allah. They don't know that our hearts are diseased, and that there is for us to learn, grow and develop, that there's potentials and possibilities for human beings, that when you hear, you can live and die as a non-believer, unbelievering, you can be stuck in your unbelievering BS, belief systems, your losering BS belief systems. You can live unconsciously, die unconsciously, or while you're here, you can actually fulfill the purpose for why you are here, to remember Allah, to bring to Allah a purified heart. Most people don't know why they're here, and they don't have a purpose. They don't know that you can't trust your mind, you can't trust your heart. It's diseased, your mind is distorted, and you'll see it in the way you live, denying Allah. You'll see it in the way you live, harming yourself, your body, your life. That's not what the Prophet did. He respected himself, his body, his life. He taught other people how to respect themselves, their bodies, their life, and each other, and each other's bodies and their lives, their potentials and possibilities, the future that they can have, the progress that they can make. You get what I mean? You can live as ignorant people with all the rules and the laws, but you don't have faith in your heart. And you can live as ignorant people, but you got your beard and your hat, but your conduct is, not outstanding in any way. It's not anything like the Prophet. You don't have the attitude that the Prophet had. You don't have the behaviors that the Prophet, you don't have the way of relating the Prophet had. But no, we're following the Sunnah. You know what I mean? We are Muslims following the Sunnah. We're the right type of Muslim too, said the hypocrites. So you can live your life in a pre-guided state, like before guidance came to you, and you can continue to live your life unguided, and yours will be a depressed life. You won't be an outstanding human being. You won't be a human being that is humane. The Quran says, woe to those who stand in prayer but whose heart lacks the smallest of kindnesses. You won't be kind to yourself. You won't be kind to your body. You won't be kind to your life. You won't be kind to your future. Where are you going to be kind to other people? Can you trust somebody who's not kind to themselves, their bodies and their lives? Can you trust somebody who's not progressing in life? Can you really? I don't think so. I was one of them. I know you couldn't trust me back then. I can trust me now. And it's only because I claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. It's only because I realized I was in a losering mindset, in an unbelievering mindset. I was continuing unconsciously. I was not aware that I was not aware. I didn't realize there was guidance. I didn't realize that there was learning, growth and development. I didn't know. But the Quran is all about learning, growth and development. About 700 times in the Quran is the theme of learning. It's a personal development. It's a societal development. It's a development as families and communities. It's development. You get what I mean? It's all about development. It's all about development. Personal growth and development, spiritual development, interpersonal development, character building, living how you're living, upgrading your way of living. And yet here you have people who, from the time they were in madrasa, when they're little, got their religious instruction right till the time of their death. There was no learning, growing and developing after that. They just live unconsciously in the tribe and living in this tribe. So this losering can take many forms. One is the out and out loser. You look at the person, you can see there's nothing outstanding about the person. Their heart is diseased, they're operating in a low vibration, the way they conduct themselves, they're destructive, they have bad habits. They have bad habits. They live life without ambition. Some of them go crazy because their thinking is thinking. They get paranoid. They don't learn. They don't want to see where they are in error. So they get paranoid, they get self-righteous, they become dogmatic, they become aggressive, others are defensive. These are the ways in which Satan, wants you to be. Aggressive and defensive so that you don't learn. The Quran is all about learning, growth and development. It's a whole thing about who will humble themselves and welcome guidance. Now, most people I know, they're not welcoming guidance, they are programmed by their tribe. They're programmed by their family. That's not guidance. That's not guidance. There's no development there. There's no development. So development, do you understand what development is? Where there's learning, developmental learning, there's growth, there's becoming, there's being, there's moving to a higher level of security. So when you're a loser, in the typical sense of the loser, you are not secure, you are insecure. You're controlled by the world, you're trying to control the world. You feel very upset that other people and other things are happening or not happening the way you want to. You get desperate. You turn to other people to take care of you. You turn to other people to take care of them. You say, I must never have anybody take care of me. I'll turn to me and I'll take care of me. You turn away from Allah. You remain turned away from Allah. You know what I mean? And there's no peace in that heart. There's no spiritual well-being. Person's not right in their head. They're upset. They're moody. Moody. They're feeling pessimistic. Get up in the morning, another day. I get up in the morning and I say, Shukr to Allah, yesterday was a good day. I draw closer to Allah. I was more like the Prophet. I'm living a life tayyibun. Iman, amal, a life tayyibun. Somebody must say, but we don't see a beard on your face, Ashraf. I said, no, I'm more like the Prophet. I'm living like the Prophet. Living like the Prophet. Living like, not appearing like the Prophet. You can appear like the Prophet too, but live like the Prophet. Live. The Prophet was optimistic, hygienic, friendly, supportive, generous, kind. He embodied the essences of Allah. Fair, just, forgiving, merciful, kind. Where is that in the people who say that they are close to God? If you don't see that, the essences of God in them, you must know they're insecure, their hearts are diseased, they've got a big act going on, you can fall for the act. Sometimes they're so judgmental, like we are so right in their defensiveness and they point fingers at everybody, and you really believe they're so right. When I was little and I saw these self-righteous, people, losers, I started becoming defensive, like, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm wrong. They are right. You got to treat them with respect. I didn't know this is all their self-deceit and they're deceiving other people. I didn't know. They had diseases in their hearts and they were not learning, growing and developing. They didn't receive the Quran and its message. They had hijacked the Quran and its message for their own reasons. And they're not into remembering Allah, bringing to Allah purified. They're not into it. Their hearts are diseased. They're left astray. The disease is expanded. None can guide those who don't turn to Allah for guidance. They think they're right. They're worshipping Satan. So, I'm just saying what my experience was. You do with the information whatever you want to do with the information. So, when I was a loser and I was busy losering, when I was unbeliever and I was unbelievering, there was no love and kindness. Even when I'm speaking about these people, this compassion, this mercy, I feel sorry for the fools, that they are. It's not a judgment, it's a fool. That's what a fool is. They think they know and they don't know. They will soon come to know that how they were. They'll say, please send me back. The Quran says, those who follow them will say, but we trusted you, we followed you. They say, we couldn't help ourselves. What made you think we could help you? You know what I mean? We have Allah. We have the guidance. We have the Prophet. We have the Quran. We have Islam to learn, grow and develop, to support humanity, to learn, grow and develop. If you don't want to learn, grow and develop, you have what I call a rigid personality, a rigid mindset, a rigid mentality. I want to remain the same. I don't want to learn, grow and develop. But I want to act holy moly. I'll dress like this, and I'll look like that, and I'll speak like this, and I'll be all holy moly. There are people who don't want to learn, grow, and develop. They don't want to develop themselves spiritually. They don't want to develop themselves in terms of character. They don't want to live a natural, wholesome life. But they want to put on an act, an image. You get what I mean? People do that. So there are people who don't want to learn, grow, and develop. I don't mind. I don't care. It means nothing to me. I was one of them, but shukr to Allah, guidance came to me. I humbled myself. I am closer to Allah than ever before. My heart is purified. I'm remembering Allah every day. When I get up in the morning, I say, I did well yesterday. I look forward to today, doing the best I can. Iman, amal, a life table. When I go to bed every night, I feel good about myself. I'm progressing. It wasn't like that. I was like that loser. Drugs, this, that, and all. Going nowhere, wasting my life. Purposeless, aimless, just carrying on in life. You get what I mean? So, when you're the loser, you are insecure. You don't experience godliness. You don't experience the essences of Allah. There's no security there. You don't trust. You're not patient. You're impatient, you're aggressive, you're defensive, you don't want to learn, you don't want to grow. Not me, I'm perfect. I'm right, the world must change. God must fix me, fix my life, fix my problems. But Allah gave us the fix, the guidance, the Quran, the Prophet, Islam is the fix for us to learn, grow, and develop. No, we don't want to learn, grow, and develop. But you help us with our problems. That's where I started this journey on. The journey started there with foolishness and stupidity. But it's so popular, you don't know it's foolishness and stupidity. So, I received the guidance that now my heart is more pure than it's ever been. I have Iman in my heart. I feel good. It's secure. I know why I'm here, my purpose. I'm a better human being to interact with. It might sound like Ashraf is speaking on the hypocrites. I have to tell you this so that you understand. Otherwise, you're living unconsciously, you don't know what's going on. The Quran tells us about the hypocrites and describes them. So I have every right to tell you about the hypocrites and describe them too. It tells us about the people who are in error. You know what I mean? Those who are losers. So I'm just talking what the Quran is saying. It's nothing personal. The Quran says when you come across the ignorant people, just greet them with peace. I've learned that. I've accepted the teaching of this. It's a guidance. We're forced to look at them, judge them, say you're hypocrites like this, why you teach the people wrong, this. I was in my own, Allah says it's between them and him. It's got nothing to do with you, Ashraf. I said, thank you, Allah. I humbled myself. Before I thought it had something to do with me. I thought like I was the big shot. I had to put them in their place. I'm nobody. Allah alone is. So I humbled myself. I'm healthier now. And Allah will show them whatever it is. They must do whatever they want. It's their choice. They're welcome. It's got nothing to do with me. So this peace. I took the message of the Quran. I took the guidance of the Quran. I'm learning from the Quran. Every day I read the Quran. Every day I ask Allah for guidance. Allah guides the hearts of those who believe in Him. I feel that. I have that. So I'm secure more with Iman every day. I'm more selfful. More self-beneficial. I'm living in a way that benefits me. And I'm choosing to live in a way that benefits others. But you can't really benefit others if you don't benefit yourself, right? So I'm not destroying me, my body, my life. I'm not against me, my body, my life. I'm not against my potentials, my possibilities, my future. I'm not against it. I'm for it now. I'm realizing the gifts of Allah. I'm here, what I'm here to do, to remember Allah, to live, to have a tayyibun life, to live naturally, to learn, grow, how to behave with me, my body, my life, my attitudes, address them, how to behave with other people. I'm learning, I'm growing. You know what I mean? Spiritual growth, personal growth, how to be with other people and be supportive of them, genuinely, not from guilt and shame and obligation. I don't want to be a bad person, so I'm helping everybody. I'm not controlled by guilt. I'm choosing out of love, the truth, valuing Allah, valuing us as His creation, valuing each other as human beings, as a creation of Allah. My mind is open. I'm becoming more aware. I'm experiencing at a higher level. Because when you worship Satan, when you remain unconscious, your mind is not becoming more aware. And you're not learning, you're not seeing the truth, and you're not experiencing the security, you're not living self-fully, you're not living satisfied. So, this is my point, right? I don't want to labor the point. The point is, when you're living, and you're thinking, okay, so the first type of losering is out and out. So you might see people, their moods are down, they're not in any way optimistic or feel secure. They get angry, upset. They're in low vibes. They talk about other people. They talk about this and that. They're not like making shukr and grateful and feeling good and happy. So now they're like negative, and they might be destructive to themselves and others. This is the obvious losering. If you're busy losering, if you're busy unbelievering, if you're not into a leadering, if you're not into a believering, you're going to remain there. So most people, well, all people, until guidance comes to you, you're going to be losering. You're going to be unbelievering. You're going to turn to other people. You're going to turn to other people to take care of you. You're going to turn to other people and become dependent on them. Or you're going to say to other people, come here, I'll take care of you. In the meantime, Allah is the only one taking care for all of us. But you'll think, no, I'll take care of everybody. Somebody must take care of me. Or you'll be like, nobody must take care of me. I'll take care of myself, But where's Allah in all of this? So when you are losering, you can be the out-and-out loser. Bad state emotionally, bad state spiritually, affected by the world. The heart is diseased. You have a bad relationship with yourself. You have a bad relationship with your body. You have a bad relationship with your life. You're destructive. It's obvious. With other people, if you can't respect yourself, how are you going to respect other people? You just take from other people, not care for other people. This is the obvious person who is losering, to whom guidance has come. They might have turned their back against guidance. They don't want to claim the refuge of Allah. They don't want to become aware, experience. They might pray to Allah, please help me, Allah, please, please, please. I've been such a bad way, please. They might be begging, but they're not saying, here's the guidance, the Quran, the Prophet. I'm supposed to become aware and learn. That's for me to claim refuge. There's beyond who I've been, how I've lived, what I've experienced. I can't trust my mind. Become aware of Allah, draw closer to Allah. It'll heal my mind, it'll heal my being. I'll stop worshipping Satan. The more I worship Allah, I'm feeling more secure. They're not receiving the guidance. So you can see it. They losers, other people around them can see it. People around them get disappointed in them or feel afraid of them. They are not caring, not for, they don't acknowledge Allah's caring for them and for everybody. They're not happy. They deny Allah. That there's every reason to feel good. They deny it because they don't know Allah. They're not interested in guidance. They're not interested in guidance. So that's the quite obvious one, the loser, right? Carry on, unconsciously programmed in society. But set out to fail in the world. Failing in the world. They don't want to learn, they don't want to grow, they don't want to develop. They don't want to receive the guidance of Allah. They but this is happening and Allah is testing me and this and that. And why is He doing this? Allah is guiding you how to live with a good attitude. If you have Iman in your heart, your body starts healing. It changes your whole biochemistry. It changes your moods. To feel secure and you remember Allah. Your health improves, your immune system improves, your whole life gets better just by remembering Allah. You understand? The Quran is guiding you to remember Allah, to claim refuge with Allah, to show you that you are lost. And I also say you are lostering, you are lostering, you are losering, you are lostering, means you are lost. And guidance has come to you, but somehow you have minimized it, diminished it, ignored it, denied it, and you're just carrying on. Like no guidance came to you. You might be even religiously. So then there's some people like that, but they'll be like, but we're reading so much. And we're counting the names of Allah and the tasbih, we're saying it. But it's not helping. So these have the losers with their religious identity. Still no difference. They're losering, they're unbelievering. You get what I mean? They're not saying, where's the guidance? What is the guidance? What's the spiritual growth? Let me draw close. How do I do that? Can somebody teach us about that? What is life all about? What is the priority? Why are we here? You get what I mean? They just life is horrible, miserable, and they might not turn to God, or they might desperately turn to God. Please help me, but they don't know God. They don't know God. They don't know that God has helped us, gave us the guidance, gave us the Prophet, that we have to learn, grow and develop. We have to claim the refuge. They're not claiming the refuge. They are with Satan. The Satan is attached to them. And they don't know, that's why they're feeling insecure. They don't know, that's why they're harming themselves. And they don't know why they can't progress in life. It's the Satans are attached. The Quran says when you fail to remember Allah, a Satan is attached to you. And on the day of accountability, you will see those Satans. And you will say, woe unto me, would those Satans be far away from me, from the west is to the east, or the east is to the west. I'm not sure. So people don't know. They're not remembering Allah. There's the Satans attached to them. You've got to claim refuge with Allah. Allah is sufficient as a refuge. They're just carrying on. Losering through life. Unbelievers, unbelieving through life. And they might be religious loserings. And they still think, but why is this happening? You fail to remember Allah. When you remember Allah, Allah remembers you. Those who remember Allah abundantly will progress and prosper, the Quran says. You're not remembering Allah. You don't know Allah. You have ideas about Allah. Desperately turning to something that you think is Allah. But you're not aware. You don't have a relationship with Allah. You have a relationship with the Guru, but not with Allah. Sometimes. So you get the out and out loser, then you get the religious loser, and then you get people who seem to be learning and growing in the world, but for worldly reasons. And that's great. It's good. So people who learn and grow, and they go to university or college, or they learn something, a skill, whatever, they'll take opportunities in life for life. There'll be more about that kind of learning. And some of them will survive well, and some of them will make money, and some of them will make lots of money, and they'll buy things, they'll progress in certain ways in worldly terms. And these may be non-religious or religious types. But they're still losering. Why are they losering? Why are they unbelieving? Because they fail to remember Allah. They're learning. So some people don't want to learn, right, at all, finished. Some people will learn, but the learning will benefit them in this world. But they will not. Some people will not learn spiritual development. So you get a lot of people who seemingly in the world, they show a nice face to everybody. Behind closed doors, they're the worst people to themselves and to others, right? There's no spiritual growth there. There's no spiritual growth. There's no personal development there. You get a lot of people who are seemingly successful in the world, but they're not generous and kind. They're not really there. They're there for themselves and their own selfish things. I'm saying be self-full. Don't lose yourself in other people and forget about you for caring for everybody else. But it's character, iman, amal. It's the Quran, its message of drawing closer to Allah, and the Sunnah being like the Prophet. You know what I mean? Living a life tayyibun. So you get people with money, but they're perverted, out and out perverts. You get what I mean? So some might not be perverts, but their success is for this world. They don't know that they are here to remember Allah and bring to Allah a purified heart. So the real win, the real win is to know why you are here. What happened to humanity? Where humanity is? What's going on here? What's the purpose of life and death? And that is, the Quran says, to bring to Allah, to remember Allah, to worship Allah, to be grateful to Allah, to recognize Allah's power, to submit, to live demonstrating humanity, be like the Prophet. Live as a higher level, be a benefit to humanity. Spiritual development, psychological development, experiential development, learning, growth and development, spiritual growth and development. So you can live purposelessly in life, or you can live, just going through the society that we have that seems to have purpose. Get a job, do well, earn money, take care of yourself and your family. This is like society's unconscious, movement, and you can be part of that. And society is continuing with the guru and the pandit, and you can live in this, I don't want to say flow, but you can get taken away with society's unconsciousness and subconsciousness, and you can be part of that. And that's where most people are, and that's where most people will be. Or you can receive guidance and realize that there's a purpose. There's a purpose here. Purify your heart. Make a study. You can live not in the tribal, unconscious purpose, let's get married and have children. You are here to remember Allah. You can get married and have children, but if you get married and have children and you don't remember Allah, that's a fail. You're not here to get married and have children. You can get married. You can make money. You can do these things. You can do all the things that seemingly are successful in the world. But you're not here for that. You're here to remember Allah. An awareness to be liberated beyond living in a trance state. So most people are living in this trance state, and that trance state is out and out losering or religious losering, or it seems like they're succeeding in this world, and that may or may not include religious. But it's all the same current, that trance current that is going through society. And if you go with that current, I won't even say flow, there's not flow. You're just going with it. That means you are losing through life. But when guidance comes to you, and you realize there's a purpose, there's a priority, to draw closer to Allah, to submit, to draw closer, to receive guidance, then you say, let me make a study. Thank you to Allah for His compassion and mercy. He's given us guidance. We have guidance. Instead of asking Allah for anything, recognize what He has given to you. Be grateful. The Quran says Satan stands in the path and renders people ungrateful. So if you cannot recognize the guidance that is the Quran, that is the Sunnah, that is Islam, real guidance, as this is a book for developing us, that we don't have to live as unbelieving people, losering people, lostering people. We can be leadering people, believering people. It's a different type of person. You know what I mean? That we're not just thinking about, oh, help me God, desperately. And we're not thinking about, but we got money and we got this, so we're okay, we're married, we got children, we got parents to look after, whatever people think, I got a job, I can earn. We're realizing there's guidance. There's for us to spiritually develop and psychologically develop. There's for us to become believers. We can become believers. We can become believers and live as believers and die as believers. We can become. You see, when you're living in the trance through society, you're that out and out loser, or the religious loser, or you're that person who thinks you're winning in the world, and you can be a religious person, you think you're winning in the world, and live in this trance state that this humanity is in. Or you can be among the people who awaken, who realize that we are here to remember Allah, and not go with that unconscious trance, to actually become purposeful, to say, this might be the toughest thing I ever do. I might not even know anybody in my life who's doing this, who's made the purpose to remember Allah, to develop security, to purify my heart, to stop trusting the ideas in my mind and the diseased feelings of my diseased heart, to actually become aware of what is truth, what is guidance, what is truth. I want to become aware and experience security. I want to express as a believer and apply myself as a believer with Iman and Amal. I want to support a life that is tayyibun, wholesome. You see? Now some of us are beginning to realize that whether you're out and out loser, the religious out and out loser, or you seem to be successful, you've got a place to eat and food to eat and place to live, and you've got people in your life, but are you secure with Allah? Are you really a believer whose heart is secure? Or are you just feeling, I got somebody so I'm okay? Are you feeling relief, safety and excitement? Are you controlled by the world, trying to control the world? Or do you feel the natural state of spiritual well-being? When you're a believer, you experience the natural state of spiritual well-being. You're aware of Allah, and Allah is supporting us, the will of Allah always in our favor. Allah is taking care of us, taking care of everything for us. You get up in the morning and you know what your spiritual needs are, and you're aware of how Allah is meeting those spiritual needs. You can't meet those needs. Nobody can meet those needs for you, and you can't meet those needs for others. Are you aware of what spiritual needs are, and that Allah meets our every spiritual need? So you might be like, but my need is to eat food, and that's fine. But are you aware of your spiritual needs? People don't know what spiritual needs are. They don't know. What's the spiritual need? What's that? That's why you don't feel secure, because you're not aware that Allah is meeting your spiritual needs. Are you aware what your human needs are? Allah has given us the ability to meet our human needs. Are you respecting yourself, your body and your life? You get what I mean? Or you're poisoning yourself, your body and your life. Allah has given us the opportunity to respect others and their needs. Are you really respecting others and their needs that we can be for each other? Allah said He put love and compassion in our hearts, that we may take partners from among ourselves and dwell in tranquility. Are you feeling love and compassion for your partner? Do you understand? Is your partner feeling love and compassion for you? Are you dwelling in tranquility? Now, before saying, oh, my partner doesn't feel love and compassion for you, do you feel Allah's love and compassion for you? Have you received Allah's love and compassion? Are you feeling love and compassion for you? Are you feeling love and compassion for others? No, I'm busy doing my work. I'm exhausting myself the whole day. I'm tiring myself out working for money. I got no time for me, my body, my life, for the people in my life. I don't even have time for Allah. I'm just busy doing rituals. See, people who depend on themselves, they don't realize you can't depend on you. You can depend on Allah. You say, no, what's that? We don't know. So people don't know what spiritual growth is, spiritual development is, the needs that Allah meets for us. They're not feeling good about that. They're unconscious. They don't know Allah. And then they don't know that Allah's caring for us includes the capacity given to us to care for ourselves, our bodies and our lives, our future lives and afterlives. That Allah has given us potentials and possibilities. People don't know. If you don't know the caring of Allah, you won't know that Allah gave you the capacity to care for you, to operate in a beneficial way with yourself. See, when you worship Satan, you don't realize the benefit that Allah is to you and has given to you. You're not grateful. And you don't see it. You can't see it. You're busy doing rituals and religion and all that, or not. Or just complaining and feeling bad. But you're not feeling good. You're not becoming aware of Allah and feeling good. And you're not feeling good that you are in His care and you're taken care of. And He's given you guidance, and what you have, Allah and His guidance, there's no problem. You understand? The problem is we're not aware of the guidance, we're not receiving the guidance. And Allah gave us a capacity to care for ourselves and each other. Imagine if we couldn't become aware that Allah is caring for us. We can, but not everybody wants to see it. And to be religious. Islamism. They don't want to remember Allah. And they don't want to recognize Allah's caring for us is including the capacity given to us to care for ourselves and to care for others and be cared for by others. This is when you purify your heart, you will feel Allah's caring. And you will feel caring for you, your body, your life, your future life, your afterlife. You will feel caring for other people. You will be when you recognize what Allah has contributed to us, you will be a contribution to you and your life. And you will be a contribution to others. Not you'll be just there, we're making money, let's amass more money, amass more money, amass more money. That's what most people are up to, you know. More money, business, busyness. Shukr to Allah has guided me. Shukr to Allah. You know, imagine if I lived and died without becoming aware of Allah's caring for me, the capacity given to me. Imagine if I didn't access that capacity to care for me and to care for others and to be cared for by others. I would have lived and died. I would have been the worst loser. I would have been the worst loser. I would have been losering. Even if I had all the money in the world and very comfortable and driving a nice car and, you know, having a nice spouse and whatever and children, I'd be the biggest loser. Shukr to Allah. Many things. But I'm not losering through life. And I'm not unbelievering through life. I used to, but no more. I'm leadering through Allah. I am believering through Allah. I'm winnering through Allah. Through life. Because of Allah. Shukr to Allah. All praise, glory, and thanks is due to Allah Almighty. His choicest blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.